Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps. I made two cards for you today. These are mini Slimline cards, and I did some alcohol inked backgrounds and then added some great sentiments from the Bitty Buzzwords stamp and coordinating die. Now for my first background, I have my Yupo paper trimmed down to 6 inches by 3 inches because a mini Slimline is 6.5 by 3.5. So the first color that I'm using here is Poppy Field. These are all just regular alcohol inks. These are not the alcohol pearls from Tim Holtz. And I laid that down, and I'm coming in with my alcohol and my little air pusher thing. This is actually for like blowing on your camera lens to kind of clean the dust and stuff off of that. So that's what I'm using here. And then I'm using some Brass Pinata metallic alcohol inks, and it says brass, but it really looks exactly like gold. And so this is what I'm using, blending with my colors here. So I'm going to be using 3 colors on this and then 2 colors on my second one. I didn't realize I was going to do a second one until I started doing this one, and I should know better. I can never just do one alcohol ink background because I just think they're so much fun. I think they're so relaxing to do, just to kind of watch that alcohol ink just move all over the place. So in the middle of this, I decided to do a second one. So this second color here is Pink Sherbet. And with all of them, I'm adding some gold. Now you can see I had a little bit of that gold there. I just got some alcohol on my paper towel and just wiped that off. So if you get like a little mistake, or some of your alcohol ink drops onto a part of your Yupo paper that you don't want, just get your paper towel wet with some alcohol and just rub it off, and it comes off perfect. The next color I'm going to use is Watermelon. It's pretty dang close to Poppy Field, but there is a slight difference. So on this one, obviously you can tell I am leaving a lot of white space. I wanted this one just to be kind of on the softer side, if that makes sense. So just this, having these colors kind of flowy but not take up the whole background. The next background that I'm going to do will be the whole background, which I really love that too, but I really like a lot of this white space open. So what I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm kind of getting a lot of the alcohol ink and the Brass Pinata together. I kind of like that thick dark edge, and then it kind of being soft, moving soft out from that, if that makes sense. So I really like that dark line. So I'm just pushing the alcohol ink back and forth. I like to hold my paper in my hand too, because then I can kind of tilt it and let the alcohol and the alcohol ink kind of run, and it kind of helps me get it into place, if that makes sense. Okay, for the next one, I will be starting off with Shell Pink and the Brass Pinata. I'm just going to kind of cover this background. I really didn't have a plan for this. I really wasn't sure how I wanted this to look, but it turned out so pretty. Then I'm going to bring in the Poppy Field and add some of that. So this kind of looks like a blob. And at first I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh no, I ruined my background. But I just kind of moved it around and I let most of it dry. And then I'm just going to start working on the edges and kind of pushing it back in towards itself. And then I'm going to end up getting this nice line through the center, even though there's alcohol inks everywhere. So as you can see, that blob is already turning out a little bit better. I brought in some more of that Shell Pink at the top, just really kind of moving it around. And then once it's dry, then I'll bring in some more alcohol and just push around and kind of get rid of some harsh edges that I don't want, or add some harsh edges that I do want. So I flipped that around, and I'm adding in more of that Poppy Field on the other side. Again, it just looks like a blob, but I'm just going to keep moving it around. And as soon as it started moving right here, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so, so pretty. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Once these are done, I'm going to put these aside to dry because I don't want them to be super, super sticky. Now in my Misty, I am going to stamp my sentiments. I am using the Bitty Buzzwords stamp and coordinating die. I also needed to use the Bitty Buzzwords Holiday, but that was literally for the word and. So the first sentiments here I am stamping and gold heat embossing. I used Honeybee Stamps clear embossing ink. And the U did not stamp perfectly. So I already heat embossed it. I'm gonna line this back up in my MISTI because I did not remove those stamps. I can just stamp that again, sprinkle on the gold embossing powder and heat it again. And now I have a completed word. Just the bottom of it didn't stamp properly. And then I'm gonna come in with the word hugs. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm prepping the cardstock with an anti-static powder tool, using the clear ink on white cardstock, sprinkling gold embossing powder on, and then heating that through until it's melted. So the first card is going to say love you. Then the second card is going to say hugs and then we're gonna have the cute little lips. But I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut out these two sentiments, and then I'm just going to trim out that other little U sentiment. Now here is the Bitty Buzzwords holiday. I literally just needed the word and, so I looked through my whole Honeybee Stamps stash and found this sentiment with the word and at the end. So I'm just going to mask off part of that sentiment, prep my cardstock with an anti-static powder tool, and then again using the clear ink, I'm just going to ink that up really good, remove the mask, and then stamp that down. Now I literally just have the word and. I'm going to sprinkle on the gold embossing powder and then heat that through and trim that out just like I did the other one. Okay, so now we've got the S.W.A.K stamp set. This was from last year's Valentine release. So I'm going to ink that up with Honeybee Stamps black ink on white cardstock. I'm going to ink that up really good to get a nice good image. Then I'm going to clean off my stamp and I'm bringing in Honeybee Stamps clear embossing ink, and I'm going to be using clear embossing powder. I want these lips to be shiny. I want them to be a black shiny. So I stamped that, inked it up, stamped it again. Then I'm going to sprinkle on the clear embossing powder. And it looks kind of frosty like that, but now it's all nice and shiny and melted. I'm gonna put this back in my MISTI without moving my stamp, just move up my cardstock, which makes it super simple, and then I'm gonna repeat that again. Stamping it in the black ink, cleaning off my stamp, and then coming in and stamping it with my clear embossing ink so I can do some heat embossing. And I'm gonna be using the clear embossing powder to make this nice and shiny. Then I will be using the coordinating dies to die cut both of these lips out, and then we can get these cards put together, and they are so super cute. Okay, so I have a piece of gold mirror cardstock that is trimmed to 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, so it's slightly bigger. Then I die cut these two pieces here. This is the Lovely Layers Heart Vine. I die cut the one piece from vellum and then the other piece from white cardstock. You can line them up, but I decided to just offset them a little bit with a little bit of liquid glue, and then I'm going to adhere that down. I will add some foam tape behind the love sentiment, and then the U sentiment I will just adhere directly to the card base, or to the card panel, excuse me. Now it is a white card base measured 6 1/2 by 6 or by 3 1/2. This is a mini slimline card. The second card, the same thing. I did a gold mirror matte behind that as well. This one's going to be upright. Then I will have some foam tape behind the word hugs. The word and will just be adhered to the background. And then we will adhere the little lips. One set of lips will just be adhered to the card base, to the card panel, excuse me. And then the other one will have some foam tape behind it for dimension. But I love the pop of black on this card. I think it can carry it because that whole background is pink and red. So I think it can handle these nice big pops of black. Then I'm gonna come in and I'm adding some gold sequins from the Pretty Posh sequence set, sequin mix. And then I'm adding some strawberry ice little hearts to this other card. And then these cards are completely finished. And look at the shine on this. I think this one's my most favorite. I think it's so soft and pretty, and it's very Valentine's Day for sure. And then you have this one, which is a lot more bold, and I think it's kind of playful and super, super fun. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this project. I enjoyed making it for you, and I hope that you have a really wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.